We'll see what happens.
Got it. 2 for 2.
All right. So what's going on, man?
You know, it's a Monday. Survived.
Yeah, I hear that. Had a pretty rough couple days the end of last week. It's just one thing after another. It wasn't very fun around here the last couple days of last week. Oh, hey, now I got the chat. I had to actually click on the chat. Oh. What's going on, everybody?
There we go. I got the chat working now too.
Yeah. I had to actually click the button this time. Normally it just pops right up.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. So.
Most likely I messed up the setting.
Yeah, probably. Oh, so today I battled all morning trying to make this. Just this.
It's so shiny.
It seems very simple. It does appear that Wes updated his camera, but I promise you it's still his iPhone 8.
No. We're hoping there's not a crash. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I spent the bulk of the day today trying to make one single part, and life was not treating me very well. I'll show you the very first part. It was a failure. I had an offset wrong on a drill bit, so it drilled the hole pretty far off center there, which meant that it fucked off the backside, and
Hey, I think people would pay extra for that.
Yeah, maybe. The surface finish was absolutely atrocious because I had clicked on the wrong, or I had clicked the wrong speeds and feeds. I have everything saved as a template, and I had clicked on the wrong one. I had clicked on the one for Delrin, not aluminum. So it was trying to go real fast, and that wasn't the way to do it. So I broke the tip off of this little boring bar, which there's not much left of the carbide insert there, and I also broke a 2.5 millimeter drill bit. It just it wasn't working out for me this
Those
morning.
tears of joy.
Yeah, tears of something. I'm looking at
Cha-ching,
$35 worth of broken tools sitting right here in front of me. So, but I do have a complete. Actually, I have four of these now, but this was the first one that was actually good.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
but yes, what this is an SCX10 Pro rear axle tube. And what this will allow us to do is, for people who want to run wider, we can change the width of the axles. I will be making front tubes also. But this will allow you to change the width of the axle. Obviously, you'll have to have different axle shafts. But if you wanted to run like XR width or whatever, I know we discussed feeling old when you refer to something as XR width, but that'll allow us to change the track width of the SCX10 Pro axle.
Is it Capra width now? What's the common terminology these days?
I mean, I guess you could call it Capra width, but the Capra, the end of the axle shaft is a square, not a thread, because it goes in the portal box. So you wouldn't really be able to use a Capra axle shaft per se.
Yeah.
But that may be down the pipeline. We'll have to figure something out. But other than that, I was playing more with the angled skid chassis for the SCX10 Pro. I did some more testing with that over the last couple of days, and it seems promising. I haven't had any issues, and I haven't had any failures. So, and it's performing the way I thought it was going to. So that's cool. Hopefully that just keeps going. Man, okay, there's the chat again. Dang, I had to click on it again. Other than that, Just like I said, goofing with this chassis and those axle tubes this week. What are you doing other than working?
I'm trying to figure out how to get the live chat going. Um, no, I'm just working, man. Since I don't know, a few of you in the in crowd might know my dog had an incident with another dog. So with his stitches, he was out for like a month and a half of like strenuous hiking and running. So it's gotten kind of chunky. So we've been hiking a lot recently to try and work off those pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, just biking, hiking, working, fun stuff, getting everyone's orders out as soon as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Um, a good person just asked if there are any other sliders for the C1 Pro. The nice thing about all of our chassis is that they all share the SCX10 skid bolt spacing. So technically, any slider that is designed to bolt on or fit in any SCX platform will bolt to the chassis. However, um, the belly area of the C1 Pro is pretty short. So compared to, I don't have a C1 trail in front of me. Um, hmm. If I can find a C1 trail chassis sitting around in front of me, I'll show you the difference. But the belly area is like this long on a C1 trail, which is like, normal axial belly length. So bolting just random sliders to a C1 Pro, you may get some overhang beyond the belly. But C1 Pro sliders should be coming reasonably soon. There's that audio thing again.
All
um,
my stuff's muted, man. uh,
uh, anyway,
just a
C1 Pro
firewall.
sliders should be coming reasonably soon. Wesley has to move here in a couple of days, so that's the holdup
Yeah.
on that currently is don't want to have a whole bunch
Most,
of inventory and then have to move it all and keep track of it all.
yeah. Try not to have like a bunch of a few $1,000s of product end up at some random dude's address. That's my goal.
Yeah, yeah, stuff gets
Um,
shipped and doesn't make it before you move, and then it doesn't end up coming to where it needs to go to. So they will be soon enough, but another week or two.
yeah, it'd probably be at least um, 2 weeks before I get it to my door.
Yeah.
I am moving this weekend though, so
Okay. Yeah. Um, I plan on. God, I wish the freaking weather would change around here. Like it was super nice looking out today. Uh, I looked at the weather this morning. I'm like, oh, cool, like mid 40s and sunny. Like, great, this is
oh,
gonna be cool.
you turn on the
Yeah,
heat
I know.
lamps.
Yeah, I know. But then it was like cold wind. It was like, 43 feels like 29. I'm like, I'm not going outside.
No,
So
and
I'm
of
ready
course,
for, yeah, I'm ready for a couple of 60-degree days or more because I just need to get outside. We did have our first thunderstorm last night though, so
it's like
first thunderstorm of the year.
sleet, hail,
It did. It hailed while
everything
it's.
all
Mhm.
at once.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. We got sleet, hail, and thunderstorm all at the same time yesterday evening, so that was cool.
We had a few clouds roll in. It was balmy 79.
Mhm.
This is my time of year to laugh with you on that
Mhm.
because here in like 2 months I can't even go outside because it's too hot.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be the perfect time for me to be outside.
Then yeah, then the tides change over here.
Yeah. Almost nader season. Yeah, it is almost nader season. I'm glad I wasn't in Mississippi or Alabama yesterday, so or the day before. They got hammered, but well,
I think we
I don't
actually
really get.
I think we actually had a tornado 10 miles north. There's this one town that always gets hammered. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't usually get tornadoes here. There have been a couple in town, but I mean, very, very sporadic. It's very rare that we get one come through here, but they normally hit the last one that came through hit a big daycare right by your old apartment. Hit
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah. I think they just did a lot of work to that last time I was up there. So they
yeah, they had to rebuild the whole thing
re,
because
re
it got yeah, it got
oh
taken out.
man, I
Yeah,
don't
they had to rebuild the whole kids club and daycare thing because it was on the ground. But
totally wrecked. Man,
yeah,
that'd have been quite the view from the US 20 right there.
yeah, it went right
Debris.
over the highway too. It basically started by my house south of town, and then
Oh,
it went right up like Miami Road basically. But
yeah. Huh.
I know no one else knows or cares what
No,
Miami
no.
Road is, but it's
This is
basically
just
a north south
Michigan
county
chitter
road.
chatter.
Yeah, north south county road that just went straight north up that road. But anyway, that's enough tornado talk. I don't want any of those. There's a trailer park across the street from my shop, and those attract tornadoes. So if I get one now, it's Josh's fault. He brought it up. But um, where'd that chat go? Got my C1 Pro out yesterday at Crawler Canyon. Did the tiny tire class. Got second. Didn't get third because Lucas wasn't driving his. Yeah, I'm glad it's working out for you, man. I knew you'd be happy with the C1 Pro. So, because especially compared to the longer bellied chassis at Canyon is a difficult task because of the steep breakovers. But anyway, I've still got these links sitting here on the bench. These go to the Oracle and the angled skid Oracle. We need to figure out a name for this angled skid chassis. I'm tired of calling it the angled skid Oracle. Need to find something else out for that.
The oh man, C1 Pro V7 SQP
Yeah, the
7 man.
alphabet soup. Do the alphabet soup like everybody else is doing now. I don't know.
I'm thinking Oracle Expert.
Maybe, maybe.
I'm just spitballing off of mountain bike racing classes that I
Yeah,
attend.
yeah. Is that a old high-low hanging on the wall there, by over your shoulder?
Yes, this one here, yeah.
Yeah. Is it easy to remove from the wall so you can see the belly length on that compared to the C1 Pro?
Wow, this is like if you're trying to get like a Titanic. Ooh, wait, I do have. No one's. Oh, I think maybe only the team chat has seen this.
Testing is going good on the angled skid version of the SCX10 Pro.
Don't know
I'm
if it's
happy
coming
with it so
across.
far.
So I do have this 1/8 inch titanium C1 Pro built. Currently not getting used, but I don't know how to even.
Yeah. So like if you're looking for sliders and you're looking for something for the C1 Pro, it's
There's
you know,
a
there's quite a bit
little
of length
discrepancy
difference.
there.
Yeah.
Where we've came in like about 10 years is
Yeah.
pretty fascinating.
Yeah, there's 10 years of difference right there in your hand.
We've actually moved the motor mount backwards.
Yeah. About half an inch or so.
Technology.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. And here is again that since someone just asked about it, the angled skid version of the SCX10 Pro chassis. I need to move my rear upper links back a hole. My pinion angle's kind of jacked back there right now, but
So, did we ever hear the reasoning? Because the factory SCX10 Pro is 3 degrees angled, correct?
correct.
Is there rationale or reasoning? It's like a subtle. It's so subtle.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask about it. I could ask Wyatt or whoever about it and see if there was a reason behind it, but I guess since I've shown this enough times now, shown this chassis enough times now that I guess I can say it. This is a 10-degree angle on this skid angle, so I mean that's quite a bit.
That's
10 degree,
about what
10
the
degrees compared to 3 on the factory.
basic math 7 degrees more than factory.
Yeah, a couple degrees more than factory. But I mean, there it is against a factory chassis. Your Pro just got delivered. Sweet.
You get that doorbell camera. That's nice.
Yeah.
21st century.
Yeah. So yeah, I had seen a couple of other bolt-on angled skid SCX10 Pro chassis come out the last couple weeks. One specifically from Rock Pirates RC, and one also from IERC, and they both were 3 degree stock 3 degree angle skid areas. So I wanted to do more than that, which is why I went
I like to
10.
do the extremes.
Yeah, so I went 10-degree angle on it, and that is really about as much as you're going to get out of the factory prop shaft, if I'm honest, because I'm trying to make this as bolt on as possible. And in order to even get the 10 degrees out of it, I had to stretch the length of the chassis between where the front upper link mounts go and the forward motor mount. I actually had to lengthen this area because when you angled the trans up, it pushed the prop shaft forward and it bottomed out the prop shaft. So I don't remember what exactly the length is. Probably it's about 3 millimeters if I had to guess. Just looking at it in my hand is how much I stretched between here and here on the non-angled skid to angled skid, just to be able to reuse the factory prop shaft. But you can kind of see it's pretty well bottomed out in the cup, in the drive cup there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bind at all, and it's not rubbing. Like you could get more angle out of it, I guess, but you're gonna have to change stuff around if you wanted to get more angle out of it. You'd
People
have to
don't
move.
realize how much 3 millimeters is when you're referencing 10 scale.
Yeah, the size of one screw.
Yeah.
And there's about a millimeter. If you're not gonna be able to see it on camera, but where the pin is versus the slot in here, there's about 1 millimeter between the back of the pin and the back of the cup. So it's snug, but it's all in there, and I still have more gap between the spur gear and the dual servo mount than factory, because people were complaining about those rubbing or being very close to rubbing. And I rectified that on both versions of the chassis.
Now they had that concern with stock form, or
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I haven't seen those in the comments or messages.
No, stock, the factory ones. I think a lot of it had to do with people using either the wrong length screw to attach the servo mount to the chassis, or over tightening those screws and flexing the plastic. If you use too long of a screw, it would bow the servo mount and it would bow it back towards the spur gear. So people were having contact there. I didn't have that issue, but people did. I saw.
I've been playing around with like the technical drawings, and I've been almost thinking about producing like a technical drawing with hardware lengths and recommended lengths. Um, Unfortunately, it kind of just takes up a lot of time.
It
Um,
does.
Usually, a quick message, you or I would know right away. 12, 14, 16 mil.
Yeah, I don't know where my hardware bucket. There it is.
I think the
I was
most
just
common lengths I use is 12 to 14, and maybe the Panhard mount, since that's another. Uh,
I
that
used
was
one of these. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it's
is
got,
that for beads?
I don't know, I don't care, but it's got 8 millimeter long, 10 millimeter long, 12 millimeter long, and 16 millimeter long uh, M3 screws, and then M3 nuts, and then this is
Ooh,
the brass,
individual compartments. Nice.
yeah, brass inserts for the 3D printed stuff if you pull a thread out. And I keep the insert tool for your soldering iron in there with it. But this goes in my bag, my
I would
trail bag
say
when I go
that's the
out.
perfect backpack kit.
It
My
is, and it stays latched pretty well too. So
I trail around so much. My man, I don't even know if I want to show this to people. My tool thing basically becomes a spare bolts bin
yeah,
because that's what I just toss in my backpack.
yeah. I normally have my 1.5, 2.0, and 2.5 drivers with me, and that little hardware packet in my backpack, and then my battery bag with a couple spare packs.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Foracle for the angled skid. I don't like that name. I don't like that one.
Reasons.
I do like the way these tubes are turning out, though. I'm kind of pretty happy about that. I guess I could. My scale's over there, and I don't really feel like moving it. I haven't weighed the difference between this factory steel tubes and the aluminum tubes yet, though. I would
The
have to take a tube off of this truck.
we all want you to do it. I mean, we're here for the next hour and a half.
All right, fine. They're not hard to remove either, so it's not that big of a deal. I won't use power tools so that people's eardrums don't get blown out. And then I just moved all my tools to the other side of the bench. So
We need
I
that fancy.
dug out my Metal Masher Class 2 body Friday because I was talking to Metal Masher on the interwebs about my leaf spring truck that he has, that he's working on finishing for me.
And that's
Sounds
the
like
penis set.
yes, sounds like he's going to have it done by Beat the Creek, but it won't be painted, so I won't be taking it to Beat the Creek. If I go to Beat the Creek, I'll be picking the truck up there. But if I don't go to Beat the Creek, I'll probably have someone else pick it up for me and bring it back, at least closer to here than Pennsylvania, because that's where Metal Masher's from. But I grabbed that body out of the bin of death bodies because I was looking for something else. I don't even remember what I was looking for, but I saw it and it still looked cool, so I got it back out of the bin of bodies. I'll never use it again.
I have the hardest time tossing bodies out. I've probably a half dozen bodies that I can't foresee me ever using, but I can't toss them out.
Yeah, I've probably got 30. Now, where the hell did that aluminum tube go? I got the steel one in my hand now. Ah, there it is. Got it. Hang on. I'll go weigh these things. Let's see what we got. What do you want this in, grams? Factory steel tube in grams is 38. You writing this down?
Yes, I have my pen and paper right now.
38 grams for the steel tube, 14 grams for the aluminum tube.
It's It's quite a drastic savings there.
It is quite a bit different. 38 and 14.
I was gonna say do ounces, but I don't know if that thing it'd be tenths of an ounce. Am I
Yeah, I don't even know.
how many Mountain Dews does that thing weigh?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a Mountain Dew around me. I got Mountain Dew in the
It's
pop machine.
1/16 of a Mountain Dew.
It's a 16th of a Mountain Dew.
We need this in layman's terms.
Yeah, need this in terms I can understand. There is a trailer park across the street. I should know how much a Mountain Dew weighs right now.
uh, I mean, they might weigh in grams too. I don't. I mean, I don't know.
I guarantee you the trailer park across the street, everybody knows weights in grams. I promise. It it sounds like it
Maybe
sounds like
fluid
a real
ounces. I don't know.
I don't know.
How many Colt 45s?
The amount of police presence over there is astonishing. I will say that.
That's the one little spot of town that occurs in.
Yeah, it's pretty bad over there. It's pretty dark in the middle of that trailer park. I drove through there one day.
No
Uh,
lights on.
well, there was multiple extension cords going across the road, basically from one trailer. No, like on the road, on the ground,
On
like
the
strung
road.
across the ground. Yeah,
Is it
going from
well, hold
one
on.
trailer to another.
It's your neck of the woods, so are they just warming up the diesels or
No, they were
no?
powering each other's. They were powering each
Power-
other's trailers.
Hey man, I'll power your router if I can use
Yeah,
your Netflix password.
yeah. It's that trailer park's pretty bad, and like I know a guy that lives on the.
Very
I'm
convenient.
gonna say the nicer part of that trailer park, because there is a couple of nicer trailers in there, but like lot rent over there is like $200 a month. It's
Dang. Hey, not bad.
yeah. When I think that they cumulatively paid less for all of the trailers in there than one lot's total yearly rent. So it's pretty bad over there.
Man, I could live up there. I could work like 3 months out of the year and then live there the rest.
Yeah, you could work like 7.5 days and pay your yearly lot rent.
No, it's not quite that lavish over here, mind you.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I shouldn't talk bad. There's some good guys that live over there. There's some people over there that keep an eye on my shop that will message me on Facebook or something if a vehicle's sitting outside out front for too long or over the weekend or uh, after hours or whatever. They'll message me, "Hey man, there's a truck sitting out there." I know I see it on my camera. Thanks though.
yeah. Well, you had a. Were you next to the U-Haul place that got like? Okay, yeah, they had some like activity over there for a while.
Yeah, the for a while the thing was they were drilling the fuel tanks to steal fuel.
Oh,
They'd slide a 5 gallon bucket underneath the U-Haul trucks and drill a hole in the plastic fuel tank, catch what they catch in a 5 gallon pail, and let the rest of it drain on the ground. And then for a while they were stealing cats, and then it
oh,
went back to
I immediately thought like cats.
cats. No, no converters.
Yeah, stray
Uh,
cats. None
yes,
ever now.
yeah, no, they don't steal stray kittens. Anyway, yeah, there was catalytic converters stolen there all the time for a little while, and then it's been pretty peaceful over there recently. So I'm sure something shitty is about to happen again. But somebody did break into the house that's out back that's been vacant for 10 years. Uh,
Oh,
about a
that's
month
only a matter
ago.
of time.
Yeah, about a month ago, somebody broke into that, but they didn't. There's nothing in there. It's an empty, vacant house. So luckily, they didn't decide to stay there
Well, if you were in
because
Austin, they'd
squatters.
have to give you a 30-day notice.
Yeah, yeah, squatters'
Squatters.
rights.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that the house has been on fire a couple of times, so they probably went in there and like, nope, this ain't the one. But anyway, that's the activity from around here recently. You had what's that South by Southwest? Was that in Austin or where's that at? That was going
Yeah,
on recently.
that was. It might have just ended. I'm not an avid goer. There were some like cool like little pop up shows, but not super in the loop on that. So I'm a little ignorant. But it
Yeah.
does help to know people. 'Cause, you know, there's so many people around here that they have their own little niche hobby, and you know that's their thing. So it's cool to get a heads up on cool pop up shows. But
Yeah.
for the most part, traffic was pretty bad around downtown. I just kind of kept my loop um, to the north side of town.
Yeah. Josh, I think the activity around your shop and the activity around my shop are probably pretty similar. Uh, it's probably fairly similar. Like the difference is like they don't shit in the street across the street here, but I think otherwise it's fairly similar. Just a bunch of people you don't really want to be around. But anyway, need to get these axle tubes swapped into this thing tomorrow so I can start beating on these a little bit before I really get to saying much about them. But I'm curious how the aluminum is going to hold up instead of steel.
I mean, you're you're machining it from a solid rod, correct?
Yeah, it's
So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
is it 50, 52, 60,
6061.
61? Okay.
Yeah, actually, this isn't the this is the bigger size. Um, yeah, it's 6061. And it's certified 6061.
Nice. I mean, it's hard to beat a machine part. Now, if it were like cast or 3D printed or something, you know,
Yeah,
you might. But honestly, man, they're doing what is that? Papadakis Racing for Toyota. They're doing 3D printed manifolds for
hmm
their 1,000 horsepower super motors. I mean, stuff's pretty crazy now, but
yeah, yeah. Anything with powdered stainlesses and titaniums and stuff like that that they're using to it's they call it 3D printed, but it's basically welded. It's
yeah.
welded powder. So
But my I think a machined part I'm fairly confident with under any circumstances.
yeah, I think it'd be really difficult to bend a narrow one. But I was
What's
thinking, if you went like wraith width or something like that, it may be a little easier to bend because realistically, you've only got
how much of
what
that
did I
goes
say?
into the pumpkin? Is there
Yeah, it's like 375. It's like three eighths of an inch goes into the axle,
okay.
into the plastic housing. So
Yeah, that would be the main weak point, but I don't know. I like to not gamble with my weak points. I like to keep my weak points pretty cheap.
yeah,
I think most of my trucks have metal shafts, but for a while I just ran plastic 'cause I'd rather throw on a new drive shaft than a new axle shaft.
yeah. I would agree that the plastic center section would break before this would bend, but I mean, there is still plenty of meat on the bone there. What size drill did I use down the center of this thing? I don't even remember. I set it all up in the lathe on Friday, and I had a irate customer that I've been dealing with for since 2019 that I really wanted to just have him go away, and it just wasn't working out. Um, think it was 21/64 was the drill size for this. So the OD is half an inch and 21/64 out of the center. So whoever wants to do that math is how thick the tube is in the center section here. Obviously, where the bearing pocket is, it's a lot thinner. But I know Josh is going to get mad at me for talking in American in inches because he likes to
I
do
was
everything
about to
in
say
metric.
something. It's even some of the old 3D printed stuff when I pull up those files, because I used to. It wasn't until maybe a year and a half ago I drew in inches, but in decimal, and then I realized how how silly
Yeah.
inches and decimals is. So I
Well,
draw in a
so
metric.
I was measuring off of the factory tube. So the OD of the factory tube, you're telling me you'd rather me tell you it's 11.33 millimeters than to tell you it's basically a half inch.
Half
To
inch.
tell you it's 11.5 millimeters instead of half inch. Like, I don't know. That bugs me.
Yeah. As you start to get around more and more engineering drawings, inches is definitely for the
Yeah, that's
the,
cool.
the,
But then
the LS crowd.
you go to buy machine tool, you go to buy tooling, and you don't buy an 11 millimeter end mill. Like,
Josh is on the 11.5 game.
yeah, no, you know, when you're doing a bearing pocket, you're buying, yeah, you buy a reamer or whatever that's the bearing size, or you machine it below that. But when you do number drills or letter drills, you're not going by metric or American really. It's kind of a combination of everything. So I just measure what I need to measure, and I've said it a bazillion times. I'm not a machinist. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a designer. I'm a guy that figures shit out. So I figured shit out. I broke tools in the process, but I figured it out.
Because you were in a 17th of a 16th and not a
Yeah, pretty much.
26
That's
millimeter.
maybe that's what I did wrong. But I'm gonna have to fix the end of this boring bar before I can put a new insert in it. That's why it's sitting on my bench here. I got a little saucy with the tiny boring bar, and it's got a pretty decent little chip in it.
I hand tap all the dual servo mounts in the nylon, mind you, and that little 2.5 or 3 mil tap. Those two things scare the crap out of me.
Yeah,
I can't imagine an actual machine drilling that
I
thing.
the M2.5 tap that I use to tap the wheels in the lathe terrifies me as well, because I think I said it either last week or the week before. That little tiny tap is like $45, and
Because
I broke the
you have the quick, the big flutes or whatever.
well. I mean, it's a pretty spicy tap, but I broke the first one. I dropped it out of my hand and broke it. And then the second one, the very first hole I went to tap, I broke it in there because I turned the coolant off because I wanted to see if it was actually going to do what I wanted it to do, and that was a bad choice. But I haven't broke any of those since then. But yeah, running a 2.5 tap into a wheel face is pretty scary too. That's why this wheel is here in front of me. This is the one that I broke the tap in right here. There's a tap broken in this hole right here. Oh, you can't see it, but it's in there, I promise. So
Should just hog it out to a 19th of a 64th.
yeah, I just would rather throw that away. 164s on the yeah. I don't even want to think about tapping 164. Nope. 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 I'm not good enough at that. I'm not good enough for that yet.
We're not at that level.
No, not even close.
I'll just have to. I'd do that into plastic.
Yeah. Josh, are you guys doing the tapping like that in a mill, or are you on a Swiss or something on those wheels? How do you tap those? I see you said 10,000 RPM. I just figured that's either going to be Swiss or on a mill. So
10,000 RPM.
that's spicy.
He's got the Doritos spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Michael
That's spicy.
Schumacher
I mean,
would
everything,
love
all the skid plate stuff, um, drilling and tapping in the mill is all 10,000. Facing, profiling. Wheels are on. Oh, okay, drill tap machine. Okay, yeah, everything in the mill, Delrin wise, gets programmed at 10K plus. So, well, facing's at 7,800, but everything else is 10K plus. It throws the chips pretty far. If you have the door open for any reason, you just get blasted with chips. I blasted myself with aluminum earlier today. I had a collet and a collet nut, and it was full of aluminum shavings on the backside, and not even thinking about it, I grabbed my blowgun and just blew air into it, and it just all over me. So I had aluminum shavings in my beard, and it was pretty cool. Like first thing this morning, it was like 7:10 in the morning. I'm covered in aluminum.
It's a
Sweet.
It's a sign of a good day.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good day. And then, like I said, I had the offset wrong on this drill, so it's pretty far off center. Mhm. Missed a negative, and it was a positive offset instead of negative offset. The tool setter, basically the way the tool setter on this lathe works, it flips down and there's a little like a cross, and you touch off, on any side of the cross. Well, if you let's say you're trying to touch off the diameter of this, you touch off on the corner of it, but you need to know where the center is. So you have to take half the diameter of the tool, and I did it the wrong way. So that's why that's not anywhere close to the center. That just goes back to not knowing what you're doing. Or not being I don't do it often enough. I mean, obviously I run the machine often, but once you get a program running, you don't really have to mess with it very much. And then when you're trying to set something new up, it takes a second to remember. Yeah, it was definitely still in the part. It didn't get into the vise, or it didn't get into the chuck or anything like that. I'm pretty good about not hitting the chuck jaws anymore. I only did that one time. You hit the chuck one time, and that's more than enough. Uh, Mamba Micro broke. I've never blown up a Micro. I don't think I've ever burned up a Micro X. Have you? The last ESC I burned up was a Chrome Master Mini V1, and I think before that was way back, like a Tekin FXR or something was probably the last thing I blew up.
Man, it might have been like 2015 before I burnt up a Tekin FXR, but that was just water intrusion. That was back in the days of the plasti dip.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stay out of the water. I'm so thankful for conformal coating.
Yeah, I try to keep my stuff as far away from the water as I can.
So, I'm the waterproof corrosion end of the testing spectrum down here.
I've got a jug of conformal coating. I bought a freaking bottle of it on Amazon one day because I was doing BR minis. I was swapping everything over to BR minis, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to waterproof them because I do have a waterfall in my indoor course. So
Sell them to Wesley someday.
yeah, maybe if I don't blow them all up first. I guess I was gonna get this metal masher down. That's what I was gonna do.
I'm actually surprised I don't run. I'll run some pretty spicy KVs on some of these ESCs, and even in this like Texas heat, I never. It'd be every once in a while I hit like a thermal shutdown, but I never burn anything up.
That's like I said, it's been a while since I burned up an ESC. Other than that ProMaster Mini V1, but that was uh, right when they first came out, so uh, they had issues. But they had BEC issues, and it burned up a bunch of stuff. Still, my headlights still work.
Is that the button cell
Yeah,
setups? Yeah, I remember you gave me a couple of those.
yeah. So this was my Class 2 body for 2 years ago, 2021. Yeah, Metal Masher. This was actually the second body he ever made for himself, and then I purchased it and destroyed it. He ran it. He ran it pretty hard before I bought it, but I don't think the. I don't know if the taillights still work. No, the headlights do. Nope, taillights do not work. Huh. Okay, taillights don't work. Still has the interior in it. This one actually had styrene interior instead of craft foam.
Above and beyond on that one.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but it's still in there. So I was thinking that it looks pretty decent on this angled skid Oracle chassis. I need to narrow up the sliders a little bit. Like if I show you the other side, it fits pretty all right.
Such a sleeper, and that looks like that'd be one of the old monstrosities from back in the day. Yet it's the
Yeah.
latest and greatest underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I may try to resurrect this a little bit. So this was the second body he ever made. I have the first body he ever made still right here in this light bulb box. And it's in a bunch of pieces. Here's the hood. There's the back of the cab. Roof and A-pillars.
If anybody wants to know what it takes to build one of these.
Yeah, this is a absolute mess. So like this, clearly goes something along those lines. And then tailgate, bedside. Anyway, I have it all. It's all in here. I didn't want to beat that one up. It's like I said, it's the first body he ever made of the Yoda bodies in aluminum. So I didn't really want to destroy it. Obviously, it's already destroyed, but I didn't want to ruin it any
What's up,
further.
Paul? How's Callie doing? Wait, Paul, do you get all that 10 feet of snow or whatever they got in that area? Have you seen those pictures, Brett?
Man, that was wild. Like houses are gone.
Yeah, just under snow.
Yes. Yeah,
I can't even
there's
fathom.
cars, houses, everything just in the snow.
If that happened here in Austin, I would have to like move somewhere because this place would be done.
Yeah,
it'd be like what is it? What movie was it? With Will Smith, I Am Legend or whatever.
I Am Legend. Yeah,
That's how just 6 feet of snow. That's what.
Oh man.
Oh, he's close to the bay. You don't gotta brag, Paul. Don't gotta brag.
Get up in the hills, man. That was pretty wild. So I guess I could cliffhanger the Pro.
Hey, when you get tired of that body, let me know.
Man, I talked about it last week. I wish that the bed wasn't cut out, and I wish there wasn't slots cut out of the hood. Like that, it bothers me enough that I don't think.
Yeah.
Bothers me enough I don't think I'm going to run it because that just doesn't do it for me.
Like I'm chopping up this one. There's not too much. It's subtle.
Not a whole lot left of that one.
It's subtle. But the hood, I was gonna do body posts on the hood, but I can not, I feel good about not having body posts.
I
But
had this one mounted. I drilled 2 holes back here, and I had it mounted on a body post, on an angled body post. But like the very first time I drove it, it tore the hole out.
that's where I'm at. Yeah, at a hinge.
Yeah, I had it hinged back there too, and it ripped it out immediately.
There's some spots it's thicker, some spots it's thinner. Just kind of the game. That's the roll of the dice.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't feel like building a bed and fixing the slots in the hood, so I'm probably not going to run that anymore.
If it were hard bodied, the slots on the hood would be easy, but the leg sand, I would never be okay with.
Well, the
Any
problem
patch
is
job.
I can't patch it and
Yeah,
paint it to where it matches because I didn't paint this
no,
body. So
there's not a chance.
no, I wouldn't. I'd have to just paint the patches black, I guess. But
Put stickers over it, but you'd always know. I'm too particular.
I can't say that I'm too particular because I build shit like this out of craft foam. But it's
Those should be
I don't know.
available on the site. I'd probably buy one.
No, no, not doing it. Not doing it at all.
Send,
Speaking of
send in
available on the site, you should update some people on some leaf spring stuff because a bunch of people have asked.
yeah. So the whole moving thing is kind of uh, delayed a few things, but I do have. This isn't the final. This is like the proof of concept, but what we're getting here is basically a CMS high-low with leaf spring options, and how it's going to be designed is the leaf spring flows into the skid. Don't know if you can quite see,
Yep, you can see it.
but it does make for a weird looking rear end, but you're not going to have links to worry about, so you'll still have pretty close to the same benefits as our high-low. But I don't want to divulge too much, but there is a solution on the way. We're just updating that setup's been in the works. I think the first prototype of that was last October.
Yep.
But if anybody cares to guess how long this stuff takes to R&D, there you go. It's well over 6 months, and like I was saying earlier, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters adds up, and it's
That's what you have to tell all the ladies, isn't it?
yeah, 6 millimeters,
It's a lot, ladies. It's a lot.
11.5 millimeters. A half inch doesn't really. That doesn't absolutely work at all.
Yeah, giving them that measurement in standard doesn't help. Anyway, no, there is no pre-order options. We don't do pre-orders or pre-sales because if it takes an extra couple days to get something out past what you said, people get upset, and a lot of people don't understand the concept of a pre-order, where they think that just because they paid for something that it's on its way. So, we will obviously make announcements when that stuff is ready to sell, but we have had a lot of people asking why leaf spring chassis have been out of stock for the past probably a month now, and the reason is because it's all getting overhauled.
Yeah.
It'll be redesigned chassis, redesigned leaf kits. It's a whole new setup, not just reordering stuff. So
it'll be pretty cool, man. I have let's see. So instead of these big bulky Shapeways kits, you're gonna be getting bushing kits, various millimeters. Um, it'll be a little more cost effective, and it's going to use a lot of the same stuff we already have on the site as far as the DSM No special leaf hanger. It's all going to be integrated into the chassis. Quite a bit of work. I've been It's been my project for over 6 months.
Yeah.
Um, and then as well as some other stuff up here. More kits coming.
Yep.
23 is going to be a pretty big year for us actually, and for this site.
Yep, for sure. There's gonna be some high-low updates for people. There's gonna be some leaf spring updates for people. We've got the Oracle chassis for the SCX10 Pro out already, and then working on this angled skid one. I'm gonna do some more testing with this over the next couple days. I'll probably have um, a better announcement or an actual official announcement on this angled skid chassis next week sometime after we figure out a name and after I do some more driving with it. Like I said, I've driven it. It performs exactly how I expected it to, and everything fits like I expected it to. So there's really not a whole lot more to do other than burn some more packs and have some fun with it before I let other people have fun with it too.
Yeah.
So that stuff's coming pretty quick. We talked a little bit about the winch mount and electronics mount for the high-low a little bit a couple weeks ago. We're
Yes.
just do it. Just do it. Get it
Sorry,
done.
this,
Just
this chassis I stored on its side. Um, yeah. So make a with a little small Holmes ESC. This is a perfect little brace ESC mount. Then I don't have the servo winch in here, but I do have it just bolted in, just the brace. But we'll also have a servo winch mount. If you want to run the spool internally, you can run the line straight through. Also giving away a it's all out here now. Battery tray, a little RS tray, and then I use it for my body mount for now, but this is actually a hole for your winch line if you so desired. But yeah, some cool stuff. This truck's kind of on the wild side. It's only got one purpose. Um, this one's a mullet styles. It's the F10 front non-portal. Then I ended up um, so I didn't do just a flip in the rear. You can just flip the pumpkin and hog out the housing, but I didn't want to do a high pinion, but then all of a sudden have a low pinion. So I ended up doing a reverse cut AR44 gear in the rear, which actually gives me a really nice over under drive. So this truck's been quite a performer. Just a deluxe trans. Also, there's some I've been experimenting with flat metal instead of 3D printed sliders. I've been experimenting with the flat metal ones, which they're pretty slick. No longer would you be mounting the body through that, but
right.
not everyone does that. I forgot I sent you some of those too.
Yeah, you didn't even tell me what they fit. I just bent them where you made little lines on them. So.
Oh, did I send you flat ones? Yeah, I sent you flat ones.
Yeah, you sent me flat ones, so I just saw there were little Sharpie marks on them. I'm like, well, that must be where he wanted me to bend them.
Yeah, because the Fusion program didn't delegate little notches. Didn't see the need for them.
Mhm.
The program on there is pretty nice. Sometimes I'll just add in notches just for my own
Yeah,
relief.
yeah.
But,
Anyway, so where are you at as far as wanting to get those electronics mount or that ESC mount and servo winch mount out?
I'll have to see what I got. I actually had quite a few prototypes made. I'm gonna double check the thickness, see if they're production thickness. I was kind of waiting on feedback from a couple drivers. Um, I know
There's
Tim, and I sent Tim some. Tim, actually, DRD Adventures.
Mhm.
he had nothing but positive things to say about it. So if the thicknesses work, that keeps them lightweight, um, which is pretty paramount on these setups. So
Yeah, another thing that that'll do for people that have G10 high lows is it'll keep some of the, flex, up and down flex out of the center of the chassis as well. Not that there's much, you know, in this direction flex, but it will stiffen up the chassis a little bit with G10 chassis.
you get a
I
little
don't.
more rigidity.
Yeah, let me grab. I've got a G10 high low over here on the bench. So like, a lot of people don't think about this stuff, but I do. And when we design chassis, we don't just make a random design. We also think about where the stresses are going to be. So like if you take a G10 high low, like if you're able to break a G10 high low, I will absolutely send you if you're able to break it driving it, I will absolutely warranty that out as
You
long
know,
as you tell me how you did it because
you know how many people are strapping 6S lipos into their trucks right
dude, I don't even care.
now?
As long as it's on video or you can give me the actual story, like, you know, if you have a G10 high low, let her eat, bud. But, bracing is important in this stuff. So, adding that brace across here to stiffen the center section to take some of this out of it is going to be helpful. So yeah, the winch mount's definitely going to be helpful for the high low because there really wasn't that option before.
Yeah. And then again, to reiterate, I'm kind of waiting to get settled back down before I just start stocking on everything. Um, the ESC mount and the winch mount will work for the high low that's out right now. I don't know if you could tell that high low there is a little bit different. Kind of refined a few things. So we should have an updated high low in the next month or two, also, and hopefully in kit form. Um, Turns out the kits are pretty popular, um,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
all
people
good.
like having a kit.
It does make it easy, especially for the high low. I feel um, that's kind of a particular. I mean, there's a few forward drivetrain chassis out now because we've had the high low out for well over a year and a half. So
Well,
they're
the
out now,
file the
but
file on my computer is 2021. So
yeah. So there's a few systems out there now, but for the most part, the actual high lows only a couple ways to build it to really utilize what it has to offer. So I think a kit with all your parts right in one go makes it a lot easier.
yep, for sure, for sure. So as per normal, my normal rolling order of carbon fiber, I should have more carbon fiber tomorrow. I order just mad amounts of carbon fiber every week. It's one of
The
those
fun-
things like, yeah, it's supposed to be here tomorrow actually, so it's going to be a day or two earlier than it normally is. So normally it comes in on Thursdays, but this time for whatever reason tracking says tomorrow. So I'm not going to complain about it.
Good
They
deal.
must they must have known I was going to order it and just shipped it early for me.
No, there's
And
no more train derailments or blizzards over there, so
yeah, hopefully it doesn't get any type of delays on anything. So and all the carbon I use is U.S. made carbon from a U.S. source, so I don't really have to worry about uh, getting stuck in
quality.
port. Yeah, getting
Yeah,
stuck
we
on a
don't.
slow boat or stuck in port somewhere.
The just because I keep an eye on things when I liked all the delayed shipments that just so happens to be around the Chinese New Year. I was seeing
Yeah,
on some products, other
yeah,
places we
uh,
didn't have that kind of ill side effects.
no, no, not at all. No,
Money,
I
money
we
spent here stays
cumulative
here.
we could do better with stocking inventory, but at the same time, I don't like having a bunch of inventory sitting on the shelf. I don't like looking at money sitting on the shelf. I'd much rather produce everything every day and update inventory levels every day than to watch 20 grand sit on a shelf.
Then, I mean, if we gotta change a couple things, I like to keep things rolling.
It makes having rolling changes easier. Print a C2 Corvette body and start a Class 1 build. I'd watch the height. That'd be your biggest issue is the height requirements of the rectangle for the body on that one. What's the C1 height? 4.5 inches or something like that in the rectangle where the cab exists. So you'd have you could use a roll cage, do a roll cage, but it'd have
Yeah,
to be reasonably tall.
Paul comes from the Austin area. I wonder, Paul, I would check your local rules. I know they might actually follow Sorka over there. I know in Austin, if you can get an event down here, it's pretty much just tire size goes.
Yeah.
We
I
they
think a
had
lot of TGH is pretty much the only one doing a Sorka event this year. That's any type of big event. So
there's an event going on late April, kind of local to me, and man, there's power wagon cab, 4-wheel steer, class 1 trucks. I don't care to have anything to do with that
yeah,
oddball stuff,
Class 1.
dude.
Yeah, just because it has 4.19s on it doesn't mean it's a Class 1 truck.
Man, they're like mixing and matching rear front steer dig, and I'm like, get out.
Yeah.
It's like outlaw class or something. It's kind of just the shenanigans. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Pros and cons of G10 versus carbon.
Rigidity.
Yeah, the biggest difference is going to be rigidity because the G10 is way more flexible than carbon is. Weight.
What? You save like $40 though, $50.
The weight difference. I can weigh these high-low rails real quick since my scale's already plugged in over here. Let's do this in grams again. A G10 high-low weighs 32 grams, and a carbon weighs 23 grams. So you're saving some weight and
gaining some rigidity.
And gaining rigidity with carbon. However, if you take a big nasty fall, carbon will break a lot easier than G10 will. So, like, flexing this carbon chassis, this is about all I feel comfortable flexing it. Before it's not making any cracking noises, but it's under quite a bit of tension. And if I hold the G10 one the same way, and this, about the same amount of tension, you get a whole lot more flex out of it. So you save some money with G10, but you lose rigidity. It's just kind of driving style also. If you like a truck that will conform a little better, I personally run G10 on a lot of stuff, or I always have.
And to be honest, that quality of carbon fiber is kind of beautiful to look at. The G10 is just this semi-gloss laminate looking, but that carbon fiber,
matte finish. Matte finish carbon is nice, but the gloss black G10 is just gloss black G10.
And if you run sketchy LiPo batteries, that G10 is actually mildly flame proof.
Yeah, G10 is fire resistant. It's FR4. It's fire resistant, and it is non-conductive. So
run your grounds on there,
Yeah, well, it's non-conductive, so you can't run your grounds on there. But you don't have to risk. You don't risk shorting things out on the chassis. Yeah. But carbon fiber is conductive, so You don't want things to touch the chassis. Yeah. But that's the pros and cons. Weight and cost and rigidity. Where'd Paul's comment go? Most are Sorka light last year's rules from what I've seen. Yeah, that seems to be the going rate for pretty much everywhere is either Sorka light or last year's rules. For whatever reason, nobody decided to adopt the new rules. And I'm kind of bummed about it because I built new trucks immediately. Well, I didn't build new trucks. I updated my trucks basically immediately when the rules came out, and now nobody's running those rules.
Which is kind of silly because, as you proved at Crawlapalooza last year, I kind of build kind of on the performance minded, no rule. I don't have like any Sorka comps down here that I attend. So when I pull a line at Crawlapalooza and then your class one does the same line or gets very close to, I'm just like, man, like
Yeah, fully pointed Sorka legal
full,
class one truck.
yeah, updated. Yeah. So I mean, I kind of just tell people now it comes down to like a build level. I mean, I wouldn't put myself on that build level yet, but I've had a need to expand out to that.
If a bunch of people decided to do Sorka comps in your area, it'd be easy for you to adopt it. But at the same time, like if you don't have to, don't do it because it's added stress and figuring shit out that you don't have to deal with.
I'd have to double my truck stable because most of my trucks now are basically just R&D platforms. If anybody,
that's why I build 2 Class 1 trucks and 2 Class 2 trucks that are basically identical, and then I can change. I use one truck as a test mule, and the other truck stays the same all the time. And then I can drive them back to back and see whether my changes helped or hurt. And also, I always have a truck that does exactly what I think it's going to do. But that also means that I have 2 of everything. I think
we make so much of the stuff ourselves. It's not like too crazy for us to have multiple trucks. So.
Yeah,
doubles, twins, or triplets.
Yeah, I was thinking today about potentially selling this Class 3 truck. Purely because I don't believe I'm going to run Class 3 anywhere this year. The only place that I could see me running this truck this year is Crawlapalooza. And the amount of dollars that I'm holding in my hand makes it intriguing to sell. So if anybody wants a fully built Class 3...
No, I wanted to... Dang, I was just about to shout out on the wheels. Get out of here with that. I wanted the wheels and tires.
I don't want to part it out. I don't want to part it out. It's ready to drive. It's put a body on it and run it. It's literally ready to drive. But yeah, Ben, $20. $20 would buy you the rear drive shaft.
That's actually pretty cheap. I think I have 30 or 40 into my rear drive shaft.
It's a wild boar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. $40.
Actually, that's still pretty cheap because I don't think you can buy the ends of the drive shafts for $20. But I mean, it's a 4-wheel steer, fully built Class 3 truck that's ready to drive. I don't think I'm going to run it anywhere other than Crawlapalooza, and that's in October. So I don't think that I need a couple $1,000 truck sitting around till October. If I decide I want to build one again, I can build one in September to run in October.
That sounds like the Harley and Scale Builders way of doing things.
Maybe we can talk Harley and Scale Builders Guild into coming to Crawlapalooza, and we can all do a build off.
That would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, this truck does sit on its side. You know, the old show off, standing on its side like yours is on the shelf up there. It
Just
does stand
my
on its
phone
side,
here.
and its portals. How about
The
a kidney and
portal's
a
in it.
lung? I mean, realistically, if you added up all the parts and everything that are in this truck at retail, there's probably between $1,800 and $2,200 here. If someone made me a reasonable offer on it, obviously, there's things that I didn't pay retail for. Obviously, I didn't pay retail for the chassis. I didn't pay retail for the.
Are those purple carbon hoops?
No, it's red silk weave.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm tired of hearing about.
Red silk weave carbon chassis. All Holmes electronics.
All right,
F10 portals.
you're getting Ben excited. He's bidding
25.
himself now.
He's bidding himself up $25. Yeah. Ah, I just it's one of those, I don't need to sell it, but I also don't need the truck. I built it because I thought I wanted to, and now I think I don't want to. I don't know. We'll see. I doubt anybody's going to make an offer that's reasonable on it, and it'll probably just stay here, and I'll probably drive it once or
In
twice
October.
in October. Yeah, so it's ready to go though.
You could always DM our Facebook page or Instagram if someone's truly interested.
Yeah, I'll break down everything you know everything it's got for anybody that's interested. I'm not hiding anything. It's a nice
I wonder
truck.
how,
And everything's brand new. Like it's got probably 5 minutes of runtime on it.
I wonder how many people have those tires right now.
I don't know. These are the Hyrax LPs, 2.2s.
I've only seen a couple of those on forum pages yet.
Yeah, they're the 2.2 LPs on a half-inch wide super shafty wheel. So they're on there. It took a minute to get them on there, but they're on there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll probably end up sticking around, but I got the rear servo on axle, and it's like the same angle as the links, so it's literally tucked up out of the way. The drive shaft, you can't see any of the drive shaft. It's not exposed at all. Front drive shaft isn't exposed at all. Motor sits on the lower links. It's it's probably one of the better builds I've built, but I don't know. I just don't think I'm going to use it like I wanted to.
You can be like me and not ever sell a complete rig.
Well, the problem is with a rig like this, you got to find somebody that's willing to spend a decent chunk of money. I mean, let's face it, 1,500 bucks to $2,000 isn't just nothing. That's decent amount of money. So selling a whole rig that's over $1,000 is difficult. So you end up parting them out, and you end up getting the same amount of money out of them, but part it out instead of selling whole.
I entertained selling that FJ40 I have, but when it came down to an asking price, I'm like, man, like $1,200. I just don't know the time, and because that one is a complete custom ground up build for that, just for that body, like all the measurements, and I made one-off stuff for that. I just can't even really put a price on that, so nothing I
Yeah,
feel comfortable making someone pay anyway.
yeah, yeah. I mean, 1,500 bucks would.
He's thinking. He's thinking.
Maybe if you're serious, let me know. Um, I may I may let it go for that. If somebody's serious about it, I may let it go for that. But
I think me and Ben's on the same page. Actually, Rob Gunning actually mailed me back the first ever. Before Brazen did chassis, I made little like half cages. Rob Gunning had the first ever thing I've ever made, and it was very crudely welded with a thermal arc 95. I think Josh Steed recommended many years ago,
mhm.
and it was very crude. But yeah, Rob actually mailed. He reached out and wanted to mail that back to me, so I still have it. It's pretty cool. It's a Land Rover, so it doesn't quite fit in with the Toyota stable I have here, but it is one of one, and it's the original one. So
I would like to find the red tube chassis I had when we first met. That had the when I sold it, it had RC four wheel drive D60s underneath it, which obviously were awful axles, but it was a custom tube chassis. It had factory axial rails, but it was tube chassis, everything else, and it had a chopped up clodbuster body on it. Remember that one?
uh,
Red chassis, and then it had a
vaguely.
white clod body on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I wish I could find that tube chassis again because it was really built very well. And at the time, I didn't really care much about scalers. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I had the XR10 and the AX10 that was fully built out and all that stuff, and I just happened to pick that tube chassis up on RC Crawler. Um,
Man, we're
and then I
talking
ended up,
about RC crawler and XR mods, dude.
yeah, yeah. I don't even remember where I sold it. I don't remember if I sold it on RC Crawler or if I sold it on Facebook. It's been that was probably 2013 or 14 when I sold that truck. So I'm positive that by now it probably doesn't look anything like that anymore.
Got like 10 layers of paint. It's gonna look
Yeah,
like a jawbreaker when you start sanding on it.
yeah. It was powder coated too, so like the powder coat was really thick on it.
Oh,
So I'm sure
yeah.
if somebody, cut on it or tried to add shit to it, it probably looks terrible now. So even putting a picture of it up probably, it's too far gone now. It's probably in the bottom of somebody's parts bin somewhere and
Even if the cage is good, we could probably get a Claude body from Jason May. He's probably,
yeah,
I think he's got a whole storage container of those.
I still have the tires off of that truck in a cardboard box right over here underneath my workbench.
I feel like he's given it more thought than he leads on. He's been trying to hunt this truck. He just hasn't
No,
told anybody.
these they were cut
Oh,
up RC four wheel drive mudslinger 2.2s.
muds, not even boggers. It was pre
No,
era.
yeah, it was pre-licensed tires. These were the mudslingers, and every other lug was cut out of them.
That's
That
the
was
that's the Indiana way. If for
yeah,
those of you who don't know,
yeah. You gotta have cut boggers around here.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I just happen to still have these damn tires in a box. When I was moving, packing stuff up from the basement of the old house, they were sitting on a wire rack in the corner. I don't remember what tires were even on that truck when I sold it now. I think I probably had a set of like
G8
the
compound.
no, it was before that. It was
Before
probably the factory tires off like a Falcon G6 SCX10.
the Treps. Oh no, the Falcon.
The
Yeah.
Falcons probably were probably on it when I sold
Those
it,
are
but
pretty good for an RTR tire. If I
yeah,
remember.
pretty decent. Pretty decent for around
For,
here anyway.
for what we had at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of options then. Back when prohibition was a thing.
Yeah. You could buy cigarettes when you're 16.
You still can. You just gotta know the right person.
At least we're not the age to where when you could buy cigarettes when you're 18, but then they waited till you got a habit, and then they changed to
Change it
21
to
when you're over
21.
20.
Damn it.
what a a terrible time to be 19 and 20.
Terrible time to be an addicted teenage smoker.
Addicted teenage smoker.
Fuck 'em.
Uh,
Another thing that I saw the other day on the SCX10 Pro group was a guy bought a servo winch and it was too big to fit the factory servo mount. If you have an SCX10 Pro and you want to run an external spool servo, the Holmes little tugger does fit fantastically in the factory servo mount location. Unlike the full size, if you have a full size servo, this is like an LP. If you have a full size servo, they're too big and the spool hits your steering servo. So you got to run an LP.
I need to
And
grab
I did for the people who were interested the last time I showed this. I did update the file for my spool guard for my little
nice.
spool guide. So I've updated my 3D file, and I'm going to have these printed in Multi-Jet Fusion printing, and they'll be available on the site. So probably 2 weeks for that. And I don't know what other servos it'll fit, but I know it fits the little tugger or tug buddy, sorry. And it keeps the line from being able to fall off the spool. It wraps like more than halfway around the spool, so your line
It
can't come off.
happens to everybody. It's a bummer when it happens too. Everyone knows, and we're like, oh, poor guy.
Yeah, when the line comes off the spool and wraps around either the bottom side of the spool or just winds, the spool's just winding around not doing nothing. It always sucks. So having that little spool guide on there so the line can't come off the outside of the spool is going to be helpful for people. All of my comp trucks are internal spool winches, so I don't have to deal with that on my other trucks. But this, I'm gonna put this in the Pro for Axial Fest. So that's gonna be an Axial Fest vehicle, and I will take my 1.9 Wraith and my base camp and my SCX6. Those will be my.
You still have the 2 SCX6s, right?
Nope, I sold the one to a buddy, but
What am I gonna drive this year?
I'll bring it with me. That was the stipulation. I get to take it when I want to. I made him a deal on it, so.
I can't buy one, but we'll just make Hibby get 2. Hibby needs 2.
I think he has 2.
Oh, so, perfect. All right.
I think he bought one from his neighbor or somebody down the road. So. Nice. Yeah, I think he has 2. But that's my plan for Axial Fest.
I'd have to park one of those in my garage, man.
Mine's still on the bench over there. I need to take the wheel liners, the wheel wells out of it and mount the cliffhanger body. I've got the body posts and I've got the body.
That's not a bench. That's a 4-post lift.
It's a steel topped workbench, so it'll hold the 26 pounds.
You need the Bendix stickers on the legs of that thing or something.
Benpack, yeah.
Benpack,
yeah. Need the Benpack stickers. I've lost a pair of needle nose pliers on my bench. I was gonna move my rear upper links on this chassis while we're sitting here talking, but I cannot spot my needle nose pliers. Where are they?
Paul, I need to look into some dates, man. I got some PTO to use up, so that might be a possibility. Pro Line by the Fire. Looks like
as long as it's not the same weekend as Crawlapalooza like it was last year.
Oh my gosh.
It was either the same weekend or the weekend after. I don't remember, but it was way too close. It wouldn't work out.
Like maybe like a month apart. I don't know. Because if I'm going out to Cali, I'm taking a week and a half I'm not just going for that event. I'm gonna explore it up out there because I'm gonna drive because I'm a freak. I'm gonna I'm gonna go out to Cali. I'm gonna venture around. I can't just fly out and fly back in.
Yeah. Spool on my reef winch is 785. What's
End
that in
of
millimeters?
September. Yeah, see, Paul. It's gonna be the week freaking before Crawlapalooza.
Yeah. The spool on the Holmes winch is 0.825 or 21 millimeters. So
Dragons
it
are fat.
should fit, but I don't know because I haven't tested it. Axial Fest Badlands, you need to get out there if it's even remotely an option for you to come to Axial Fest Badlands. It's definitely worth the trip. It's not like it's not like a high pressure situation. It's just at your leisure, go out and cruise. Um, you can stay out there all day and all night long if you want to, or you can hang out um, in the vendor area. There's a bunch of vendors. It's a good time.
I might actually look up dates for that. When is that?
June 20 something,
Okay.
24th, June 24th, I think. It's I know it's right then because my anniversary is the 20th,
Can't
and
forget
we'll be in Florida the weekend before Axial Fest. So like I did last year, I flew home on a Wednesday. Flew home on Wednesday, landed, got in my truck, and drove to Axial Fest. So
Crawlapalooza dates moved. You just read that comment.
I did just read that comment.
That's been like the same date for the entire time I've ever been to that.
Yeah. Yes, I will be at Axial Fest Badlands. Wesley likely will not be because he's in Texas, but I definitely will be there.
I mean, if I got like a for sure place to crash, I got, maybe.
I've got an extra bed in the camper. So, um, did I tell you my campsite situation? I don't think I did. So the last 3 years, I've got the same campsite right next to Vendor Row,
Okay,
and
yeah.
because I didn't feel like paying the $1,700 to be a vendor at Axial Fest.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody
So
knows what that stuff entails, but it's kind of costly.
it's kind of costly.
We're not a
I mean,
corporation,
it's
right?
not $1,700. It's not $1,700 cash, but it's basically the equivalent of $1,500 to $1,700. And I I'm sorry, I can't recoup that amount of money at the event. I go to the event to enjoy my time with the trucks and enjoy my time with the people, and I can't do that sitting at a vendor booth. So it didn't make sense to me to spend that amount of money to be a vendor.
Anyone
However,
that's anyone that's ever been to Crawlapalooza knows we have a booth set up from what, like 6 to whenever they
9,
tell us to quiet down.
yeah, six to
But
9:30.
all day we're on the rocks. We're out there with the people. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't sit at a bench all day. That's not that fun.
yeah. So what I did was this year I tried to get my same campsite that I've had the last couple years,
Mhm.
and apparently I was too late on the draw. So someone else
Who
got my
who we
premier campsite.
who we gonna outbuy?
I
Who's
don't
got?
have to outbuy I don't have to outbuy anybody. So what I did was I checked the entire Badlands campground to
Mhm.
see what the last campsite was on Vendor Row that Axial prepaid for, and I got this spot right next to that one.
Hey man, don't hate the player, hate the game.
So I'll be right at the end of Vendor Row. but I'm not gonna be vending, so it doesn't really matter. But obviously, I'll have an easy up set up with a banner and whatnot. But I'll be easy to find that way because I'll literally be, there'll probably be empty spots between the last vendor and myself because Axial Fest Badlands doesn't get that many actual vendors.
Hmm.
Um,
I wonder why. I mean,
well, the first year, it got postponed because of the Wuhan flu, and then the second year, the weather was supposed to be super shit, so there really wasn't. There was only the first year there was only two vendors, other than Horizon. Last year there was probably 8 or 9, but um, a lot of the vendors didn't really bring. A lot of the vendors didn't really bring a whole lot to sell. Like um, um, Castle was there, and they didn't bring any electronics to sell. Pitbull was there. They didn't have any tires on hand. They didn't have any shocks on hand. It's like they just flew in to stand there and talk about product and not have anything to sell.
like a
So
SEMA.
yeah, basically, um, Big Squid had more available to purchase than Castle did. I'm like, and Three Brothers was there. Reefs RC was there. Trying to remember who all was there. Obviously, Horizon had a tent set up. Operation 11 Charlie was there with they had a couple raffles going on. But overall, it's a lot of just individuals out there with their crap set up on a table, not in vendor row, just in the regular campground. So I'm not going to be any different than those guys. I'll have some stuff on the table if somebody wants to buy something cool. If not, I'm going to go out and play with my trucks. So
Yeah,
see you on the trails.
I'll look up some dates and might be a thing. I don't know. I want to go, so I do want to head up to Indiana this year, but I'm not doing it in the winter again. I do want to hit it up when like Lake Michigan is at a swimmable temp. So
Last year the lake didn't even hit 65. So yeah, if the
the
lake's not
glacier,
65 to 70, I'm not getting in that damn thing. It was cold
the
all
glaciers
year.
haven't quite melted yet.
Yeah, it was bad. The lake was cold all year.
Oh man. Meanwhile, I have a friend coming down in a couple weeks, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I want to go cliff jumping at that place you go to," and I'm like, "I went out to that park recently. It's a 100-foot drop to rocks because the lake is down 65 feet from
Yeah,
when I
you're
jumped in there.
jumping to your death.
It's literally just a pile of rocks now. That yeah, we didn't get any rain last year.
Yeah. No, Axial Fest didn't used to be that way, but yeah, now it's rather expensive to be a vendor. I get it. It costs a lot of money to put on the event, so like you need to make up as much revenue as you can. But when you make being a vendor so expensive that nobody wants to be a vendor, you're left holding the whole bag instead of part of the bag. So, my opinion, if you cut the vendor price in half and got twice as many vendors there, you're still money ahead, or I just, it's been Horizon. Yeah, it has been Horizon. And not last year, but the year before that, I emailed 3 or 4 different people to try to figure out who I needed to email to be a vendor, and I never heard anything back. And then from that person that I was supposed to contact. And then when I was at the event, I asked again because somebody came over and asked why I wasn't a vendor. And I politely told them, well, I was trying to be, but no one replied to my emails. And I was told, oh, we never received an email. And I'm like, well, here's the email that I sent.
Yeah.
So
What was the Cisco Grove Axial Fest we sponsored? Like $600. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
Terrible.
when you had to sponsor the event to be able to run your chassis, I think it was $500 and $250 in product or something like that.
It was worth it enough to where our cut because we had quite a few customers going out to that, so we wanted to make sure they could run these trucks they put all this time into,
Yeah,
uh, and unfortunately,
knowing
buy our way into that
knowing full well that neither of us were going to be going to the event, we still spent. Yeah, I think it was $500 or $600 cash and like
product.
$250 worth of product or something like that. And I think Badlands was, man, like I said, I want to say it was basically $1,500, including the product and cash and whatever. Um, but that got you, I think, 4 entries into the event, which whatever. I'm going by myself, so I don't care about the other 3 entries. Um, I don't know. Is what it is. I'd love to support the event, but I just can't justify the cost. Yeah, Matt and Tim were both at Axial Fest, California. I need to get out to that one. Like you said, I want to go to Proline by the Fire, and I want to go to Axial Fest in California. But I'm leery of going to Axial Fest in California because of the event location last year. It didn't look, from the videos I saw, it didn't look like it was.
Running in the woods.
If I want to play in the woods, I can play in the woods here. I want to go where there's rocks, and it didn't appear that there was much rock there. At least Badlands, you're literally playing in a rock quarry, so there's rock there.
Crawlapalooza. You can go out for days, a week at a
Yeah,
time. Bring a tent with you.
yeah. Crawlapalooza is definitely a not miss event. It is an event that you do not pass up if you have the opportunity.
John
The
Baskins and that crew put on a great event.
the terrain at Crawlapalooza is unlike any other terrain you'll ever find. Trying to locate the servo mounts for the SCX10 Pro so I can put this winch in. And I thought that I left them in the box, but it appears that I did not. The only thing that's in there is the body posts. So the question is, which one of my parts totes did I put them in? Because I kind of need those. There they are. Sorry, I keep wandering off, but trying to find something to keep my hands busy for a minute.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I get my brain has to do something. So yeah,
I've
he
never
has
seen. I've
he has
never
been
been
scamming
to a
people.
Crawlapalooza that flooded.
Well, I mean, it is always a possibility that they open the floodgates, but I think that was a one-time thing where people maybe didn't pay as much attention as they should have from the beginning. They probably were told that that was going to happen.
Well, there's like a 20-minute, 15-minute siren.
You definitely get warned. It's not like there was no forewarning of impending doom. I
Yeah.
will say I have been at the location when the gates were open, and a ton of water goes through there. Like,
But with how the past couple of years, man, there's not been that much rain in this area or that area, so they don't have a need to alleviate the dam.
yeah, especially that late in the year. You're just off of summer. It was Skill Nationals, wasn't Crawlapalooza. Um, that time of year, you're at the end of summer, you're at the end of dry season. It's not likely that they open. If they open a gate, it's the first spillway, not the second and third. So even if one spillway is open, there's still plenty of places to go out and crawl and play. So I wouldn't be worried about it. I've been there multiple times for Crawlapalooza and Ultra 4 racing events and haven't had them open the gates at all. So
Well, that and the mayor usually comes and hangs out.
yeah, he normally
So
makes a trip down in his
they're not.
bouncer.
He's usually in the know of what's. He's well aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think the mayor would be coming down there if he knew the gates were going to be open in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, just seeing what y'all are up to. This looks awesome. Oh yeah, you're gonna flood it real quick.
Oh yeah, you guys are about to die, so you probably ought to leave.
Yeah. I'm gonna go take my bouncer and bounce up the hill and leave you all down here.
Yeah. Sayonara, suckers.
It's a good
I'm
time.
glad that hasn't happened. The mayor of Disney is a pretty cool dude. I've met him a handful of times. Just out on the rocks down there for multiple reasons, but he's got a bouncer and he's got a Toyota, whatever it was. I don't remember. Just square body Toyota.
Remember one of the years he came up. He's like, "Hey, anybody up at the top of the hill?" And I was like, "No." And he goes powering up the side of Viagra Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a hoot.
His wife's in there like this,
ready to get out.
big block, just ripping it up the hill.
I will say, I didn't do nearly as much exploring at the RC events at Crawlapalooza as I thought I did because being down there for the Ultra 4 race, like there was a whole mess of area that we have never gone to with the RC stuff that is definitely worth exploring with RCs, especially the SX6s.
Definitely. Yeah, if I'm ever dipping out earlier than I want to be on Sunday, it's because I'm taking my truck and driving somewhere down in the spillway and venturing around. Not the RC. Talking about the real,
the 1-to-1.
You can just kind of get lost out there. Actually,
yeah, it's definitely a good time.
Try not to end up on a 4-wheeler trail.
Yeah. And the Mexican place right on the other side of the dam will give you to-go cups for your waters if you have a rather large margarita that's not empty yet.
Not gonna name names.
Yeah.
Brazen Fest, man. I need to get back on that because we have Pedernales, which is like a miniature Disney, except it's not a dammed off thing. It's just a natural spillway, so the rocks are all smooth. It's pretty cool. I need to do that again. Unfortunately, it's here in about a month and a half. It's going to be too hot to be out there.
Tech tip: if you are trying to mount a servo winch in an SCX10 Pro, do it before you mount the servo mount because the links are kind of in the way. But I'm getting it.
See, that's what we do, Brett. We'll do Brazen Fest, and then Horizon and Ben and everyone else has to pay us in order to run to a frame that's not brazen. Is that the edge right there? Is that how the market is?
Your trucks can only be 4% or less axial product. 4% or less axial product, and the rest of it has to be custom.
everyone else has to pay us $1,500.
I'll build my brazen chassis. Get her built, bud.
Ben, I don't even know which one you have, man.
I sent him a high-low. He's got a high-low somewhere.
Here you go.
Ben has one of those sitting around. So there's the little tugger mounted with the spool guard.
Looks clean. Room for days.
Yeah, plenty of room in there.
You couldn't do a full size at all on that.
No.
You'd almost touch tire when you turn almost if you tried doing that.
Well, I mean, it'd be inside the chassis rail. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to.
A full size.
Yeah, you're not getting it in there.
Ben, is Austin like the? I know Austin has like multiple people's trucks. Is he just like the truck closet of that area up there?
He's the hoarder of all things RC in the PNW area.
That was too nice to him.
I don't think these are long enough. I need to put. Damn, not long enough. I need to put some screws in the top of this transmission. I took the spacers out from between the trans and the motor mount to do the angled skid or the Oracle in general. But you need to put screws in where the factory spacers were so that the trans doesn't split at the top. Right here, there's 2 holes up here for the spacers. So you need to put screws there so they don't come apart. Whenever he comes over, I clean out my hobby room. Yeah. Wheels look good. These ones? These were the very first set of wheels I ever made on this machine behind me. They were not released to anyone. Those were my prototypes, my proof of concept wheels. I suppose I could make them, but that's not what they were for. I don't think I have screws the right length for this. This sucks. I either have way too long or way too short. That's annoying. When I have 10,000 M3 screws kicking around and I don't have the right size that I want, that'll work.
Oh, I have some rusty black anodized ones I could mail you.
The only ones I have that are the right length are countersink.
Oh.
Whatever. It's fine.
I have a whole assortment of those, and I'm always trying to figure out why.
They came in a monster bag.
Yeah. They'll stay in the monster bag.
Yeah. I need the K&K party pack. That's where these screws came from. No, I buy all my hardware. I buy all my stainless hardware in bulk. I have used K&K for many, many years, but there are times when I need hardware next day, and I cannot get hardware next day from K&K. So I order it elsewhere sometimes. Are those brass rotors behind there? Yes, they are brass rotors behind there.
Are the Hibby ones?
No, these are mine. These are the ones that were on the site for a little while that are no longer on the site because they were a pain in the ass to make. So I haven't made them in a while.
Plus the fancy boy stuff you get when you buy our own personal trucks from us.
Mm-hmm. I do have on the website, though, if you are looking for rotors, I don't have any brass ones left, but I do have raw aluminum and black anodized aluminum Hibby rotors on the site. Here is a raw aluminum.
That's what I got over here also.
Very nicely machined.
Locally.
Raw aluminum. Yes, locally with U.S. materials. And then here is a black. They are machined, then anodized, and then remachined
For the cut.
for the cut.
Those look good, dude.
Yeah, these are very nice rotors, and they don't weigh much. So if you they are available in brass. I don't have any on the site right now in brass, but if you're looking for something that's a little bit of weight, the brass ones are nice. If you're looking for purely aesthetics or the scale points, the aluminum ones are very nice. And if you message Hibby and talk to him very, very nicely, let me grab my Class 1 truck as I walk away from the camera again. If you talk to Hibby very, very nicely, he does sometimes have purple available.
Away.
I think he has purple right now. My Class 1 was all the way at the front of the shop.
Ben, I can definitely agree with that. I run my trucks through the ringer, so I don't always know if it's a product development truck. I've probably been pretty rough on it.
So there's purple behind a billet wheel. Looking fly. So if you like purple, there's that option as well. My trucks, yeah, there's always something on the trucks that you prototype with. There's always usually something that like didn't quite line up, but you made it line up, and you fixed it on the production version of whatever you were doing. But or my problem is that I'll build a truck with a blemish chassis that like maybe I nicked it with the sander, maybe I scratched the carbon, maybe it was dimensionally just wrong, and I fixed it in the file, and the next ones are all perfect, but I can never remember which ones or why that chassis was blemished. Like this high-low has a little nip just below this second hole. See that tiny little nick in that rail?
Sander.
Yeah, and so I can't sell this rail. So that's why it's sitting on the bench here.
I think most of my rigs have the equivalent of like 1,000,000 miles on them. Actually, I think I sent Holmes a motor. It was a older stubby, but I think I wrote in Sharpie on the can. I was like, this might actually have 1,000 miles.
Like actual miles.
Actual miles.
The 4Runner is one of those vehicles where it would have been really cool to actually have like a GPS on it from the day you built it to see how many actual miles you put on that truck.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of the Traxxas drivetrain compared to what's out there now, but I've rebuilt that transmission twice. I think I've done diffs on that 3 times. But and it's been running a 3S 3300 stubby its entire existence. It has the pop because it's a heavy truck, so sometimes you need momentum.
You need some sauce behind it.
I mean, if you're breaking spring steel leaf springs, you're kind of doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben, that's exactly what happens. You dig through the blemish bin, or the the slight blemish bin, or like this wheel that has a broken tap in it. Obviously I'm not going to sell somebody a wheel that has a broken tap in it, but for me, that is a perfectly fine wheel to use. And in fact, this front wheel also has a broken tap in it. The rear wheel's missing a screw, but it doesn't have a broken tap. The front wheel has a broken tap. So for me, that stuff's fine, but I obviously can't sell that to somebody. I wouldn't want to. And so it makes it hard to sell a used truck. But something like my Class 3 that I was talking about earlier, that truck is all brand new. That truck doesn't have any blemish parts on it. So it's like this specific, this chassis is not a blem, I don't believe, because the prototype was G10. This one, I had to move this hole, but I moved it on this carbon chassis and it fit perfectly. So I'm pretty sure this chassis is not a blem. Not that it matters, it's my truck, but anyway. Well, 10 o'clock. Anybody got anything else to talk about? How many of those 1,000 miles was underwater, Wes?
I'd rather not divulge. I don't know if there's any warranties I could willingly give up.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah. What body would the Class 3 come with? I don't know.
Ben, yeah, we do.
I think I've got 3 different cliffhangers here. It could come with one of those. If you want a cliffhanger body, I'll include the interior. If you don't want a cliffhanger, it could come with a Proline metric body that would require some trimming, or a base camp body. I don't know. There's a bunch of different options. Like I said, if you're serious about it, message the Brazen page on Facebook.
Someone do the cliffhanger body so I can get that metric one.
You don't want the metric. It's just a gloss black.
Tell me what I want.
It's just a gloss black. It hasn't been cut up or trimmed or anything, so it's in pretty decent shape. It's all brand new. Here's a different cliffhanger. This cliffhanger I ran at Crawlapalooza on my Class 2 truck, so the windows are blacked out per Crawlapalooza rules, but it wouldn't take much to unblack those.
Is it that Tibia tint?
No, it's actually like Duratrax paint, but it'd probably come off pretty quick. It's got lights in the tailgate that work. But I don't know. Or it could come with the custom bed that I built and what's left of this cab, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, if you're serious about it, message the Brazen page and we can discuss that. Guess depending on the price, really. I don't really want to let a metal masher body go. I was sitting here looking at it on the bench thinking it looked pretty good on there, but I don't want to let that body go.
It's not time.
No, it's not time for that one to go yet. So, yeah, if nobody else has anything super important, I guess we will come back next Monday, or at least I will. You'll probably still be settling in for moving, trying to get internet set up and all that crap.
We'll play it by ear. We'll figure it out.
Cool. So until then, I guess watch the Brazen fan page for information on this angled skid SCX10 Pro chassis. I believe there is 1 or 2 carbon Oracle chassis on the website, and I think there's 1 carbon high-low left. And then there are some of the battery trays, electronics trays on the site, and I think that's about it. So,
yeah.
Inventory levels should be back to normal within the next 2 weeks or so, but
thanks for being patient.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to check out of here. It's past my bedtime, and I will see you guys on Facebook land and then back here next Monday.
All right.
Later.
See y'all.